let's take a look at something that you've joked about. New look at Ironheart premiering June 24th on Disney. Is that George Droid? Can you explain that one?
Is he George Droid?
Right.
What N-word?
It's just like the one. It's not the hard N. It's just, you know, the one that people used to.
What N-word?
I'm not saying it, man.
There are a lot of words that start with the letter N.
You are so disingenuous.
It's called having fun, Alec Gunter. Lighten up, buddy.
I'm not having fun. You're a slimy.
I'm having a lot of fun.
And I want you gone. Are black people? You referred to them as blacks, by the way. Are the blacks, quote unquote? Are they more violent?
Black people call themselves black, you dumb. What do you mean? Have you never talked to a black person before?
You're in favor of the law. Do you think that slavery should have been legal when it was?
No,
Would you agree with that?
I wouldn't.
Okay, great.
Agree
You
with
would have fought against it, right? You would have fought against it. You would have been on the side of the whatever it's called, Confederacy. I'm blanking. The people who got.
You mean the Union?
Right? The Union. Thank you. Sorry. Fuck you. Fuck you. You're a disappointment to the society. You're a disappointment to your family, and most of all, you're a disappointment. You're a disappointment to your God. Go crawl into a ditch. Go crawl into a ditch and leave the rest of civilized society alone. You degenerate.
Oh, what a...
Oh boy, that was a wild quote-unquote debate. Which frankly, it never was one. He was just throwing his weight around the entire time. But the reason for this intro is because there's two parts to this video. The first part, you can find on YouTube. The second part, everything that comes after this, it's very spicy and fun. We're just slinging shit at each other and it's a really fun time. But the second part is not on YouTube, it's on Rumble, because YouTube can't tell when I'm being ironic. And if you watch the second half, it is a lot of fun. As long as you're not autistic and you think I'm serious about even half the things I say. But nope, he just was throwing his weight around. All he did was constantly question me and didn't even let me answer the questions, even though he originally complained on stream saying I misrepresented him and invited me again on his stream to talk about these things, only to take a full 180 and be like, actually, I pulled up some tweets about you saying things about black people. Which really did catch me off guard, if I'm being honest. But it's to be expected. I mean, it's the smartest move he can do, especially when your position is indefensible. He even changes his definition of Nazi mid-debate, because again, he hasn't thought about these things at all. He also directly incited violence. I got him to do that. He didn't just say people should punch Nazis, he said people should attack Nick Fuentes. He directly encouraged violence against an individual, which is not only a violation of YouTube, which people should look into, but it's also illegal. He broke the law and directly incited violence on stream. I don't know why he would do that. This guy's incredibly stupid. Hopefully, there are people that look into this. I encourage them to do so. We should not have people directly inciting violence against people on YouTube. And if anything good came out of this 20-minute segment, it's that. And another reason why I'm adding this intro is because there are many times he asked me questions, and all I did was dance around the point, avoid, have a fun time, and to troll him. I'm not hiding any of this. That's what I did, because you didn't reciprocate, engage with my questions, or even allow me to ask questions at times. If you're trying to turn this into an interrogation, sigh and moan when I get to even ask one question, then yes, I'm going to troll you and not take anything you say seriously. Granted, actually, there are many parts I did take seriously. It went back and forth. Sometimes I would, sometimes I wouldn't, depending on how he treated me. But if he treated me more honestly, didn't pull a full 180 on what we're talking about in the first 5 minutes of the discussion, I might have reciprocated more. We might have been able to have a discussion. But nope, that didn't happen. So half of the video is actual discussion, half of the video is trolling. And that's part 2. It's really enjoyable. Sometimes I am, sometimes I'm not. But if you actually want me to take you seriously, don't pull this shit. But the tweets are actually very interesting. So when we get to that part, I'll actually tell you my sincere, unironic answer. Also, at the end of the video, I'll tell you how to get to part 2, because I'm not going to link it directly. I don't want this linked directly to my channel. It might get me in trouble. But Rumble's absolutely free. There's no sign up needed or anything like that. It's just like an alternative to YouTube. Anyways, enough of me yapping. Feel free to enjoy the debate.
Looks good. Looks good. We good? Okay, you guys didn't miss anything. I think we caught it pretty early, which is good. I'd hate to catch it in the middle of a discussion. So,
Alrighty.
Yeah, what we're talking about, I apologize.
No, it's fine. So basically, you claimed that in my last 2 videos, or no, it was the last video I made about you.
I'm sorry. I hate to interrupt. Would you like to be on camera?
Me be on camera? No, I wouldn't want to be on camera. But I mean, you can show my icon.
I understand. It's a little bit nerve-wracking, so no worries.
No, I just don't want anybody to see my face or like know anything about me. I enjoy being anonymous,
Gotcha.
you know. Yeah.
Gotcha.
But,
Okay, no worries.
yeah, so you just claimed that before I misrepresented you in my video where I made a video about you. And I just wanted to go through those things. I actually looked into it a bit more, and I think I'm not actually going to take back anything I said. I really think that looking into these things more and more, paying attention to what you said, I really think that I'm just going to double down on everything I said in the video, frankly. And we can go through that stuff if you want to.
I think I've got a decent summary. You think that my rhetoric is violent. You think that it is going to lead to, I suppose, some kind of stochastic or something, people acting out in real life, hurting people, lead to real world violence. Is that about the gist of it?
Yeah, well, I think that's one part of it, yeah, and I think it's harmful, and I
Okay.
don't think you would appreciate us doing anything similar to that, right?
You're right, I don't. But let's just talk about your rhetoric a little bit because, you've pointed out that mine's violent. We've already got a whole video from you. Let's talk about the videos on your channel. I've noticed that a lot of them are about
but
women.
we're not going to just make it like we're
Well, I'd
not
like
just
to.
gonna-
So
well,
let's just pull up
no,
your
wait,
channel real
wait,
quick.
wait.
I'd like to screen share as well if you
Yeah,
don't
we
mind.
can, but this is about the videos that were made and everything, and talking about
Right,
you claimed
it's
that
about
I
my rhetoric,
misrepresented you.
and
Say what?
it's about my so it's about my rhetoric.
We
You
can
feel
do
that I'm
both.
being
We can do
irresponsible.
both to be fair.
So I figured you're a better example of responsible rhetoric, right?
Wait, what? Could you repeat that? Let me turn up the volume.
You are an example of better responsible rhetoric that does not lead to violence. Is that correct?
I would claim that my rhetoric is much better, yeah.
Okay, great. So let's take a look at your channel. So we've got here, I'll screen share with you. We've got a lot of videos about women and girls. Just out of curiosity, have you ever had a girlfriend?
Yeah.
Okay, do you have one now?
No.
No? Okay. What happened to your last relationship? Did it
It's frankly none
just
of
a
your
disagreement
business.
or okay, sorry, I didn't mean to pry. No worries. Okay, so let's take a look at one of these videos that kind of stuck out to me personally. Was what actually counts as So I took a little bit of a look at this, and I noticed here. Let me shrink my camera feed a little bit for the chat peoples. I noticed some things about it, so I just wanted to ask you a quick question, a scenario, if you will. Let's say a woman is receiving death threats if she refuses sex with her boyfriend. Do you consider this?
I consider that a horrible. I don't know if I consider it's a horrible, vile thing, but
You don't consider that. So if I say, if you don't have sex with me right now, I'm going to kill you. That's not.
if you can physically overpower me and force me, and it is through force.
That's not
yeah.
what I said. I said I'm going to kill you if you do not have sex with me. Is that? If you agree, and then we have sex.
Is it so? No, I think I need a little bit more context with that. Can you actually?
Context?
Yeah. Can you
I'm
actually?
saying.
Is it just something you? I could say that to you right now, but it doesn't mean if I said that to you right now, Alec Gunter.
So
if you
let's
don't-
say-
no. If I say right now, Alec Gunter, if you don't have sex with me, I'm going to kill you. Did I just?
So-
did I just? You?
Let's say
I
say
just-
that a man confronts you.
No.
Let's say that a man
answer my
confronts
question.
you.
Did I just? You need
Repeat
more
it,
to the
repeat it.
situation. Did I just?
Sure, repeat it.
By saying that.
Repeat it one more time.
Let's say I
apologize.
say this right now to you in this exact situation we're having. If you don't have sex with me, I'm going to kill you, Alec Gunter. I'm not saying it actually right now, just to clarify. But hypothetically, if I said that to you right now, is that... Did I just you right now?
No,
Alec Gunter?
but if you
See?
if you
So you
and
just
me-
said right now you
Hold
don't.
on.
You need more
Hold on.
to it.
Hold on. That was not the scenario I set up. You just
You
changed
just
it.
said that
What
as
I'm
a
saying,
scenario,
no.
and
What
I
I'm
asked
saying.
for
Hold on.
more.
Hold on. Hold on.
What do
the
you mean?
scenario is she decides instead of being killed, she's going to have sex with her boyfriend. Is that?
Does she actually think he can kill her?
Yeah.
Then yes. See,
Okay,
you just
great.
needed to give
Was
more
that so
to it.
hard, man? Why do we got to jump through all these hoops?
Because you just,
Okay,
you were
great.
just being, no, you flat out said you weren't going to elaborate anymore. And then I gave you an exact answer, what you
Oh
said
my
verbatim
God.
to me. And then you're like, no, that's not buddy.
Okay,
Oh
let's
my
try
goodness.
let's try an easier one. A woman describes a situation in which she's having intercourse with a man. She decides she wants to stop and pulls away, but the man pulls her back in and continues what he's doing. Is he f***ing her?
If like, I guess that's, yeah, that would be technically speaking. Yeah.
Okay,
like,
so my question to you is,
Mm-hmm.
she says that in this video, she says she attempted to pull away from the man she was with. He pulled her back in and continued. Your claim in this video is that she was not raped in this scenario. Granted, I will grant you to be completely charitable. You said that what he was doing was not good. You said that what he was doing was unhealthy for a relationship, whatever. But at no point did you acknowledge that what he did in that scenario was.
what didn't
Why
she
is
say
that?
that she was with him for months on end and that he f***ed her apparently for months on end? That's kind of strange. What do you think about that?
I'm
Alec
asking
Gunter?
you about this one situation
I'm not
that
going
she
to
specifically brought up.
Alec Gunter, I'm not going to constantly answer your questions when you don't engage with anything I say. Okay, so you have to engage with something I
I'm
say.
just
too.
trying. No, this is
No.
about your rhetoric because you are
It's
you've
not
already
even
made a
about
whole
my
video
rhetoric.
about my rhetoric and
I
how
haven't even
violent
been
it is.
able to ask you a
I
real
feel the
question
need.
yet.
Hold on.
You're going on
Hold
and
on.
on.
I feel
You're not
the
going
need
to
to point
bulldoze
out
this
that
conversation,
your
Alec
rhetoric
Gunter.
here is dangerous.
You're not even going to
Your rhetoric here
actually
is
engage with
scary.
anything
Do
I'm
you feel that
saying.
you're safe around women? If we really have to,
What?
sit here and back and forth about, well, if I threaten a girl to have sex with me at gunpoint and then she agrees, it's not like technically or whatever. Like, but
You just
why
said
why
what
the
you just
poo-pooing?
said
Why?
it wasn't. You just said it wasn't.
No, what I
Yeah, I
said
did.
was
I did flat
the-
out. I
no,
said the exact situation you gave.
changed the scenario.
I didn't change the situation. I didn't change
yes,
it
okay.
whatsoever. Alec Gunter, let me
Okay.
speak. You going to let me speak at all? You said you wanted to
Sure,
talk.
go
but-
ahead.
Okay. I verbatim,
talking.
this is what happened. You gave that situation. You said, if the guy says to her, if you don't have sex with me, I'm going to kill you. And that was it. I asked for more details and you refused. Then I flat out said that to you and you said it wasn't rape. That's literally all that happened. People can go back and play the video and see it.
No,
Yes.
no.
Yes.
She specifically said, here, let's pull it up. I have it right here. I'm screen sharing.
Also, Alec Gunter, will you listen to this one thing, just in case you're going to cut me off? I'm not going to constantly answer your questions when you're not going to reciprocate back whatsoever. When I was asking questions, when I was trying to get anything out, you kept cutting me off and forcing me to answer more questions. That is very dishonest, and you can't even engage with that.
But what's dishonest? I'm
What's
pulling up your
dishonest
video
is you're not
here.
allowing it to be two-way. You're just saying, oh, there's going to be interrogation. I flat out even send the DMs like, hey, let's go back and forth just to make sure it's fair, and you're like, okay. You flat out said, okay, hey, we can do that. And now you're just refusing to even let me get anything in or ask you any questions. That's what was happening.
What would you like to add to what is being discussed at this point in time?
Well, one is I don't even care to discuss this because I want to ask you a
Why
question
not?
about
This is your rhetoric.
Well, how about
Yeah,
this?
you only want to talk about mine. You don't want to talk about how irresponsible yours is.
We can do both.
Just mine.
Okay, how about this? You just asked me a question with that. Can I ask you a question about your rhetoric now?
Sure, buddy.
Okay, so
nothing if
you
not
claimed, correct me if I'm wrong whatsoever here, you claim that you're not in favor of violence unless it's self-defense, correct?
Yes.
And violence,
For the
by
most
your
part.
definition,
I'm sure you could give me a very hyper-specific situation.
you're going to let me finish,
in
Alec
which
Gunter?
violence
You're
is-
going to let me finish?
I was adding context, but go ahead.
Yeah, well, no, your context for what constitutes violence is having a harmful belief that people want violence upon you, right? That you even posted memes about that. Is that not what you believe?
If you are an out and open Nazi, what you are saying is, I want to kill you, enslave you, and put you in a camp.
No, I never said that.
That's a threat. That's a threat.
Okay, so
If you are
wait,
an out and
is
open
Richard
Nazi,
Spencer a Nazi?
that is a threat.
Is Richard Spencer a Nazi?
Richard Spencer? I have to refresh on him.
You don't even know
Probably,
Richard
but,
Spencer? And he's like the epitome of all Nazis. He's a white supremacist. He's flat out like, hey, deport people. You don't know Richard Spencer?
Yeah, maybe someone should teach him a lesson.
Okay, so you're in favor of calling him a Nazi?
Yeah, probably.
Okay, how about this then? Could you give an example of who you would call today that people know of, like on social media, that you would call a Nazi?
Who's the Nazi? Nick Fuentes.
Okay, so
Who was
Nick
in bed with,
Fuentes,
Destiny.
you call him a Nazi, and you're saying people should hit Nazis, correct? People should punch them, correct?
I think that you should be afraid of being.
Are
a
you going to
Nazi.
answer the question? You flat out say that all the time. People should hit Nazis, correct?
I think it's fine to punch Nazis.
Okay,
Yeah.
then why don't you say
that's
people
fine.
should punch him? It's fine for people to go out and attack him. You flat out said people should punch. You're saying right now, oh, I think it's okay. Before you said it was a should. People should punch Nazis. You've said that many times. Why don't you get the balls to say people should punch Nick Fuentes? You're not, because that's illegal. You're a coward. You can't say it. You're not actually willing to speak up with your beliefs.
I don't advocate.
You don't advocate for violence because it's against the law and will get you arrested. It's not practical, right?
Why are you defending Nazis, man? That's my question. What's the deal?
Well, it's because
Why
you're
do you
dehumanizing
have such a
everybody
boner
you
for them?
disagree with and calling everybody you disagree with a Nazi.
Would you give a shit if Nick Fuentes got punched? Because I wouldn't.
I would very
think it
much
was
give
funny.
a shit if you said, hey, people should punch Nazis. You label Nick Fuentes as a Nazi and he gets punched for not doing anything. He did
Who
not do
cares
anything.
if somebody punches him? Who gives a shit? The man wants to.
I love how you
commit
twisted
violence
things
against
here,
others.
though.
He's a
You're always
walking
like,
threat
people
to
should punch
society.
Nazis. You're always
Who
like,
cares?
people should punch Nazis. People should punch Nazis. Now you're saying, well, I think I think that people, it's all right if I don't really care. It's all right. You're not willing to own up and say people should punch Nazis. You're not willing to even say that anymore. Buddy, what happened
I've
to
said
you?
it's
You're
fine
shriveling
to punch
up.
Nazis.
You used to be a
It's
guy.
fine to punch Nazis.
It's
yes.
fine to punch.
It's fine.
People should punch Nazis.
Not walking, talking
Should
threat to
people
society.
punch?
They
No,
want to kill you.
should
They
people?
want to
Should
enslave you, and in
Nazis?
some
Should
cases they
people
want to
punch
rape you.
Nazis? No, should people punch Nazis? Should they? Should.
I think people should punch Nazis. If there's an
Then
out
why
and
don't you
open
say
Nazi,
people
you
should
see
punch Nick Fuentes? It's the
branding,
exact same
brandishing
thing.
the Nazi logo.
You just
or
called him a
saying
Nazi,
that they're
but
a
you're not
Nazi.
willing to say people
Yeah.
should punch.
Punch him.
Oh, so you're just advocating for violence now? That's advocating for violence.
Nazis advocate for violence.
No, you're just Nick
Can we
Fuentes
agree on that
didn't
at
do
least?
anything.
Do Nazis
wait.
advocate for violence?
So
Yes or
you're
no?
fine with actively
Well,
advocating for
you're so
violence
mad at
against
me.
people?
You're so, oh my goodness. Oh, Alec. Oh, you're being such a pussy about my rhetoric. What about Nazis?
Because you
Are they-
flat out
are they
said that
threatening
you don't
violence? Are
condone-
Nazis?
You're a
Answer the
coward.
question. Are
That's
Nazis
why.
threatening violence? Yes or no?
Depends on the. I haven't seen Nick Fuentes threaten
Oh, it
violence.
depends. Some Nazis don't.
Well, I thought you said Richard Spencer. You didn't even know who Richard Spencer was, or
Some
if he
Nazis
was a
don't,
Nazi.
right? You said it depends. You said it depends, so it depends.
What?
So
I never
would
even-
actually
what are
like
you
to
even
return to what we're
talking
talking
about?
about
What are
here
you even
because
talking-
you're so poo-poo about
What?
my rhetoric. Let's see yours. So let's look at this video
No,
real
it's
quick.
fine
okay?
that. No,
Let's see
I'm
what she
happy
says.
that you just admitted that
Shut
you're
the fuck up
endorsing
for 2
violence.
seconds.
You're endorsing violence. You flat out did, buddy. You endorsed violence. That's illegal. You just broke the law, buddy. You just flat out endorsed violence. Does that make you a Nazi now? You endorsed violence against somebody.
You're so stupid. Nazis endorse violence, man.
Like,
Self-defense.
so you're a Nazi then. You
Violence
just
and
endorsed violence
self-defense.
against Nick Fuentes.
Violence
You
and
just endorsed
self-defense.
violence against Nick
Violence-
Fuentes. You're a Nazi. By your own
Nazis
definition, you're a
endorsed it
Nazi.
First.
You're a Nazi.
Nazis endorsed it first. Okay, I don't give a shit.
Oh, okay.
I don't care.
So
Why are you defending
when,
Nazis?
When did he
Huh?
endorse violence
Awful
against
suspicious.
you? Verbatim. When did he endorse violence against you, buddy?
He wants me in a camp because I promote.
Did he say that? When did he say
trans
that?
care.
When did he say that?
Who? Which
Nick
one?
Fuentes. You just said he said that. When did he say
It doesn't
that?
matter.
Oh,
He's a
so yeah,
Nazi.
you
He's
can't
an
even
out
do
and
it.
out Nazi,
Well,
right?
I
That's
suppose
Nazi
he probably
ideology.
said it. He
What did the
probably
Nazis
said it.
do?
You-
You're
you had a-
literally sitting defending Nazis. That's great, man. That's
You-
great. Good job.
I mean, when you're
We're
calling
sitting here
every
defending Nazis.
when your definition
Like,
of
oh my gosh,
Nazi
the
is
Nazis,
so flaky,
but
when
we
you're
can't. We can't commit violence against the Nazis. Oh,
You-
the
you're
Nazis want us dead.
Alec Gunter, the problem is your definition of Nazi doesn't mean anything. So yeah, I will defend those people you call Nazis.
Nick Fuentes is a self-proclaimed Nazi, isn't he?
When did he advocate for violence specifically? You made that claim.
When he called himself a Nazi. Yes?
No, that's not
what
how
Nazis
it works.
want. Oh, that's not what Nazis want then, right? Nazis don't want violence.
So if
Nazis don't want violence, right?
Alec Gunter, if you call yourself a communist,
Do Nazis? No, you answer my fucking question,
no, they
big boy.
don't,
Nazis don't want violence, right?
Because who
They
you're
don't.
calling,
Okay, they don't. Nazis
who
don't
you're
want
calling
violence.
a
Got
Nazi,
it. Let's move on.
No,
Let's move
we're
on.
not moving on.
Nazis don't want violence.
No, we're
Brendan
not moving on.
777 has said it
Alec
here on the
You're trying to
record.
bulldoze
Nazis
your
don't
way.
want violence. Very
Look,
good.
Alec
Very
Gunter,
good.
I got what
Let's
I
move
wanted.
on.
Literally, I got what I wanted. I can leave right now if you don't actually engage with anything I say, and I can just take this as a victory. You
I'm
endorse
engaging
violence.
perfectly. You just said Nazis don't want violence.
No, you're not
That's
engaging with
great.
me. You keep cutting me off.
That's great.
That you're
You
not
said
engaging
that.
with. No, you endorse
said
violence
Nazis don't
against
want
Nick
violence.
Fuentes. You're calling against violence against people who did nothing. He didn't do anything. When was the last time he did?
Nazis want violence.
So did he?
I hate to
What
break
is the
that to you.
definition
If
of
you
violence?
say that you're a Nazi,
What is the definition
you
of
are
violence?
advocating for violence by
What
default.
is the definition of violence?
Displacing people against their will, killing people against their will, torturing people
The
against
definition
violence
of,
in
no,
self-defense
you
is not
dumbass.
necessarily
The
against
definition
their
of
will.
violence is
Violence is- violence is inflicting
The
pain.
definition of
Go
violence
ahead.
is inflicting harm upon people via the use of physical force. He has not done anything violent.
Is
by
violence
definition.
ever justified?
You're changing the
Is
definition.
violence ever
of,
justified?
when you're changing the definition of violence, no, it's not justified because somebody hurt your feelings.
and
Alec
I'm asking
Gunter.
you, is violence ever justified?
And self-defense when it's not simply, oh,
Okay,
somebody
great.
says something
Okay,
I
great.
disagree with.
So-
So
So if somebody's threatening if somebody's threatening your existence, right? Mm-hmm. Violence is justified.
You
against
threaten
them.
my existence. You threaten my existence by saying Christians should die.
I never said Christians should
Oh,
die.
I'm pretty
When did
sure
I
you
say
probably
that?
said it somewhere in the stream. According to your logic,
Pull
that's
up the
literally
clip.
what you
Pull it
said
up.
with Nick Fuentes.
No. You just accused me of a very specific quote.
Yes,
Pull it
I
up.
did. Because you accused Nick
Okay, pull it
Fuentes
up.
and you can't substantiate
Show me where
it.
I said Christians should die.
Well, why do
I
never
I said that?
Okay, let me ask you a question. Why do I have to show you?
Because you just accused me of that.
You just accused Nick Fuentes of wanting you dead, and you won't substantiate that.
See,
Well, you're a communist,
The man's
and
a
you hate
Nazi.
Christians, and you want us dead.
communist. Oh my God, you're
That's
so
literally
fucking
what
stupid.
you're doing
Let's
to
take a look
everybody
at
you
somebody that
disagree
you
with.
follow on here. I'd like to take a look at this clip from Woman Propaganda, one of the people you follow on Twitter,
Hmm?
and I'd like to know what you think about this. If this is violent rhetoric to you,
Oh, I love woman propaganda. He's really funny.
I know you do.
He's a really, yeah, that's why I follow him.
In order to see the second part, all you have to do is click on my About Me, my YouTube profile, and you'll see the Rumble link to my profile. You can see the rest of the video there.